Hello. Hi, my name is Ronald Martin, and today I will be talking about my own personal philosophy of self. This is actually for a class that I'm taking in psychology. This class is PHL 341, Philosophy of the Self, and my professor is Professor Matthew Albright. Today I'll be talking about 6 levels of philosophy or 6 levels of personality used by Ken Wilber. This is basically his framework of levels of personality, and I'll just cover briefly each level and what it means to me and how I add it or how I choose to look at it in my life. Level 1 talks mainly about the person or the self in connection with our surroundings, rocks, the earth, physical elements of this world. And my personal take on that is very simple. It's just that we are all connected in a way of elements in that level. Everything is made up of the elements of the periodic table, energy, whatever you may want to call it. But I think that everything in this world is made from these very small building blocks. So that's very simple. I take a lot of my idea from science, from what I see around me. If you take the human body is composed of so many different elements, and basically the only thing that we can't really understand to this day is the human brain and how it functions, how synapses works in the brain, how we communicate that way, how we store memories. But the body itself is basically a conglomerate of elements like you would see all around you. So that's basically my philosophy on that, or my idea on that. Level 2 gets a little bit deeper, talking about biology and life, and how we interact or how we connect with things around us, as far as plants and animals, things that in a sense are living like us, that live and breathe and multiply. My take on that is kind of the same basis. It comes back to that we are all from the same building blocks. I would say the main difference between us and animals and the plants kind of goes back to what Aristotle meant, in that we just have a higher sense of consciousness. But we're not much different than animals and plants, because we're all made of the same pieces and parts. Like I said before, the only difference in my mind is that we have evolved, if you could say, better over the millennia, and we've become aware, if you can say that, aware of of our surroundings, and we have consciousness to come up with ideas and inventions and tools to help us throughout our lives. Going on to level 3 about mind and psychology, this is kind of where I fall into. This is the level where I believe that human beings, or even myself, we have the best, or we have the most advantage in this area, because nothing else, there's no other creature on this world that can contend with us as far as the mind and psychology. Um, Everything we have is built on what I would consider. I go back to Freud and the id, the ego, and the superego. The id is basically represented by our natures, our animalistic nature, the desire to eat, sleep, and reproduce, the basic necessities of life. Our superego is something that really makes us different than those other creatures around us. It deals with morals and values and a higher self. It really puts in check our id. And then our ego comes in the middle and basically balances the two. It acts as a referee, if you will, to between the two sides of personality. And I really believe in that, because we have lots and many examples in our world where people are influenced by their id, or people are influenced by their superego when they have an unbalanced ego. if they have an imbalance in their ego, say their id is very strong and their ego is not compatible and won't fight or won't bring in that super ego to say, hey, no, you need to wait. Crimes are committed like sexual assaults and murder and things of that nature. I want what you have because I need it to eat. Those type of ideas are what the ego tries to resist. Going on to level 4 with soul and theology. I have a hard time with this area because I was raised as a Christian, and I've been involved with many Christian or Judeo-Christian religions, as far as Christianity and being a Methodist or a Baptist or Seventh-day Adventist. I've kind of been around the block a little bit on that. So I got to the point where I started doing more research on the multitude of religions out there, and the conclusion to that was I don't know. Simply put, I don't know what's out there. I don't know if there's a God. I don't know if I do one thing, I'm going to be damned to hell, or if I do another thing, I'll be, walking the gates of heaven, or I'll have X amount of virgins if I'm a Muslim. But I really don't know. I think a lot of the religious practices, a lot of the dogma out there was created to control the masses. I honestly believe that. And it's not, in a sense, in its beginnings, I don't think it was a bad thing. I think that it gave people the opportunity to look at their lives in a way where they could kind of judge themselves, to judge their own character, to say, yes, this is right or this is wrong. And it got to the point where other people kind of, made up ideas or made up religions so that people would feel as though in the afterlife they would be either damned if they didn't comply with those rules, or they would go to heaven and live eternity in happiness and joy if they followed the rules, if they followed the law, which created a somewhat good society in many cases. Going on to level 5 and mysticism and supernatural relationship with God and a higher being, a physical sense of self, of one. I think this goes a little deeper into spirituality. It's not so much believing there's a God, believing that there's a devil, there's a hell, there's a heaven, there's an earth. I think it gets more in tune with how you react to what those things are that you equate to. Where do you see yourself in that idea, in that religion, in that dogma? Where do you see yourself? Where do you fit? It's kind of putting yourself out there and really adapting and really making yourself a part of that belief system. And I believe level 6 is the same thing, just taken to the next level. It talks about the one in nirvana, which you find in Hinduism and Buddhism. And I really like Buddhism and Hinduism because it's especially Hinduism, because they look at religion as a universal religion in the sense that there's no one great idea. Everything has a place at the table. Everyone's beliefs has a place. Everyone has an idea of what's right for them. And it's all wrapped up in one God. But that God may have many different faces. And that's kind of what I believe as far as religion. So if I had to put myself in on these certain levels, I would say level 3, as far as the mind and psychology, is where I stand right now in my life. I really haven't made any decisions on religion or mysticism or spirituality. I know that I believe in nature. I believe that energy is a part of me. I believe that these are the building blocks of our life. Now, if there's something deeper than that, then there is, but I don't know. And that kind of goes to the question to me then, do I need proof, or will I be able to have faith that there is something beyond the rocks and minerals that we have in this earth? So that concludes my idea of self. Hope that was informative. I tried to dig a little deep into who I was and answer those questions, and give some insight to anybody who wants to watch this. So, thanks.